Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. As the month of July is coming to a close, you guys all know what time it is. It is time to choose my August TBR from my TBR jar full of prompts. This entire year so far I've been talking how I've been having a really weird relationship with reading. It hasn't really been a reading slump, it's just been like a weird feeling. I haven't really been loving it as much as I used to. Let me just say that feeling's back. I love reading again. And I honestly think it's also because the TBR jar was very nice to me last month. I had straight bangers on my TBR for the month of July. And I'm not done with my TBR yet, but I think it's actually a possibility that I could finish my July TBR, which is always the ultimate goal whenever I'm making these videos. July has just been an amazing reading month so far, so I cannot wait for August, especially because we are slowly getting into the fall season. This is around the time of the year where I start to get really excited to read fantasy and just in more of a fantasy mood whenever I'm choosing what genre I want to read. And as for books that are currently on my TBR that I'm really excited about, The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I want to get to that so bad. It looks so good. It was a new release that came out recently. I absolutely loved her One Dark Window duology, so I feel like this is gonna be no different. I want to finish the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. I have one novella and one book left, so I'm hoping to get to that so I can finish that series. And then I also want to continue the Prison Healer series. I'm trying to continue the series that I'm currently reading instead of starting anything new right now, so I feel like at the end of the year I'm gonna be starting a lot of new series and hopefully finishing them as like I'm reading them instead of waiting so long in between reading full series. That's kind of like the ultimate goal with me trying to complete series. How many times can you say series in one clip? I think I just broke the record. I do really want to start the Ember and the Ashes series, but the problem is that I don't want to start a new series right now without completing a few more. So hopefully that'll be on my TBR later in the year, kind of like I was saying. I'm in a fantasy mood, so Christmas City 2 might be on the table, who really knows? I've got two fantasy standalones down here, and I am trying to focus on series right now, but I'm not gonna be mad if these get picked. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab is a book that I've been meaning to get to for so long, so I feel like I really need to read this soon, if not like now in this TBR, at least this fall. Also Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This has a magical library. Yes, please sign me up. It sounds very atmospheric and very fall. We also have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. That's a new release too. I really want to get to that. I feel like that's more of a summer going into fall, so it'd be the perfect time to read that. And on top of all the books on my physical TBR, I'm also including my Kindle TBR. We started doing this a few months ago, and I've really enjoyed it because I love reading on my Kindle. Up on the screen right now, I have all the books that are currently in my Kindle library, and I can choose from any of those books for whichever prompts we get as well. For new releases for the month of August, there's none that I'm crazy excited about or really ready to read them in August. I probably won't buy them if I end up reading them anytime soon. The first one is Calabasas by R.F. Kuang. This is coming out on the 26th of August, and the reason why I'm not going to be reading this anytime soon or I'm not as excited about it is because of the fact that I've never read an R.F. Kuang book and I want to read other of her works before I get to Calabasas. I want to read Yellowface, The Poppy War, and possibly Babel before I even get to this, so this will probably be a book that I don't even get to this year, but I know so many other people are really excited for it, so if you're excited for it, I'm excited for you. The other book is called Well Actually by Maisie Eddings. I've seen my friend on Instagram, Anna, talk about this a lot on her Bookstagram, and she's actually rereading it right now, so that shows how much she loves it. And the cover itself is just so stinking cute. I feel like I'm either gonna wait a while until I've read a lot of the romances that are currently on my TBR before I buy it, or I might just read it on Libby. And as always, I think I've yapped a little bit too much up until this point. Let's go ahead and start picking out the prompts. A book you can finish in a day. My mind immediately goes to a shorter book because I feel like if it's shorter, it's gonna be faster for me to read. Ergo's finishing it in a day. And I think I have like 3 options for this. Number 1 would be Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young. This is a romance book, and what I'm looking for here is something under 300 pages. This is 291 with a bonus epilogue, so I feel like this is a contender. Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I know this has less than 200 pages. This is 286, and it's YA, so it's going to be a lot more of a very digestible, easy read, so that is definitely one I could finish in a day. And then The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This is 277 pages. Between these 3, I don't think I'm going to pick Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I just had it on a recent TBR, and I feel like I'm not really in the biggest mood to read this one. But Next of Kin versus The Wishing Game, I've been talking about for a long time that I want to read The Wishing Game, and it's also on my 2025 TBR, which I forgot to go get my reading journal for this video. This is an updated, if I'm being honest. I know I said that in my last TBR video. Hopefully doing some type of reading journal update very soon. But The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer is on my 2025 TBR, so I feel like I should Alright, well, that was insane. My camera's fine, surprisingly. Honestly, this way is better because you can actually see the full cart now. So anyways, I'm gonna pick The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This is a magical realism, just general fiction book. A lot of people say it gives them Matilda vibes, but there's also trials in it. I don't know. I'm interested. Obviously, I haven't read it, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm getting into here because whenever I hear trials, I think fantasy, but since it's more literary fiction, I'm just not really sure. But I love magical realism, so I feel like I'm really gonna love it. And I feel like every time I've picked this book up recently, I've been a broken record saying that I want to wait until like fall time or summer going into fall because I thought it'd be perfect time to read this book, and it is now that time. So the first book on the August TBR is going to be The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. Let's pick prompt 2. A book that matches your outfit. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. We're just gonna go with what I have on top currently because I'm not trying to ruin the movie magic for you, but I'm wearing sweatpants on my lower half. So we've got black and white if we're including the sweatpants, some gray, also got a little bit of green in my earrings too. And since this top is gingham too, if any of the books have like a gingham pattern on that, that could be eligible. The Night in the Moth edition that I have has a lot of blue accents, and I feel like this is just more blue in general. It does match my nails though, but unfortunately that's not part of my outfit. That would actually be a really good TBR jar prompt. I'm gonna write that down, and if you guys have any ideas for prompts too, make sure to leave them down below in the comments because I'm always going back and checking these videos for new prompt ideas. That one's definitely not an option. The Gilded Cage, we got a lot of black on here with a few green accents, I guess. I don't really know how close we're gonna be able to get to matching what I'm wearing today. Actually, I might scratch that because the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, it has white text right here, and the rest of the text is in gold, and all of my jewelry that I wear is gold. So I feel like this could work. I feel like nothing else on my cart right now is very black and white focused, so I think I'm gonna pick The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Like I already said in this video at the beginning, whenever I was talking about books that I'm excited to read or that I'm in the mood for, I've been meaning to read this book for so long, so I feel like this is one that I'm really excited to get off my TBR cart. And looking at my 25 books for 2025, this is also on that list too. So the second book on the August TBR is going to be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. On to the next prompt. A book you really want to read. Okay. I'm really nervous to get this prompt now because we've only picked 2 books so far, and the first one is more of a magical realism literary fiction, and the second one is a fantasy. And there's 2 books that I could go for this prompt. The first one is The Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig, and the second one is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I'm really excited to read both of these, and I feel like no matter which one I pick, I'm gonna have a great time, but since I'm entering my fantasy era, I think I'm gonna pick The Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I have been so excited for this one. I have such a beautiful edition. This is the Barnes exclusive one, and I feel like I've been talking about this non-stop recently, so I'm just gonna be really hopeful that I can pick Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston for another prompt. But the next book on our TBR is gonna be The Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I am stoked. I have heard amazing things about this, and I feel like she just brings such fun, unique vibes to her fantasy books, so I cannot wait. I know that The Night in the Moth is gonna be a series, by the way, but since it's not out yet, it's technically just a standalone right now, so I am counting it as a standalone. Let's go ahead and pick our next prompt. Most colorful cover. Okay. Guys, did I get my wish? Like, is this the most colorful cover or what? Like, there's definitely the most vibrant colors on this one. I also feel like The Passion Project by London Sperry is very fun and colorful. The Good Part by Sophie Cousins is like vibrant and colorful, but it's not the most colorful. So we'll put that one back. That's kind of how I feel about Mad About You too. Like, it's definitely got color on it, but it's not the most. Same with The Bookshop Sisterhood, although this one does have more colors. I feel like out of all 3 of these though, The Passion Project is the most colorful. Even though I really do want to read Sounds Like Love this month, like, you can't deny it. So for most colorful cover, I am going to choose The Passion Project by London Sperry. It's set in New York, which I feel like is a very fall thing, and since I'm slowly getting into the fall mood, it's going to be perfect for that. There's a bucket list in this romance, which I feel like is a new trope that's happening a lot in romance books, and I do enjoy it. I just hope that it's not getting overdone, and I've heard good things, so I'm really hoping that I'm going to enjoy it. So this is the next book on our TBR. I normally only pick 6 books to put on my TBR every month, so we have 4 out of 6 picked right now, and I'm feeling pretty good. I think as of right now, if I were to pick my dream TBR, I would probably add at least 1 more romance on there, and the other genre is kind of up for grabs. So I guess we'll just have to pick prompt number 5 and wait and see what we get. Mood read. Oh my god. I don't know what kind of magic juju is in the jar right now, but last month was amazing, and this month is looking up to be amazing. What do I pick? Getting very lucky and getting this prompt is very few and far between, but I still have one more prompt to pick. Do I just pick Sounds Like Love now and put it on the TBR, or do I test my luck and pick something else I know I really want to read? I'm also kind of nervous about what the 6th prompt is going to be, just because from the 2 fantasy books that I picked, I know Addie LaRue is a little bit slower and I'm kind of nervous it's going to slump me out, but I can also read it on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm like, do I pick the next book in a fantasy series? Because on the current TBR, I'm not continuing any series, even though I have quite a few that are on my 25 for 2025. I don't know. I feel like these are probably my 3 options considering the books that we currently have on the TBR. So Sounds Like Love, obviously. Defiant, which is the last book in the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. And then The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni, which is the 2nd book in the Prison Healer trilogy. I really want to finish this trilogy, but I'm also thinking, like, shouldn't I just put this on the TBR so I can finish a series? Even though I do really want to read this, and I feel like this has been almost picked for every single prompt, so knowing my luck, it's not going to be eligible for the last prompt, and maybe one of these books would have been. But if I'm really thinking about it, I am still really excited to read this, and I really want to finish this series, and I feel like since I'm not finishing any other ones, I should just put this on the TBR and just cross my fingers and hope and pray that this gets picked for the last one. But this is a mood reading prompt. Why am I having so much trouble with this? If I'm mood reading, I'm picking Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I want to read this so bad. I don't need to justify it or pick it apart or try and think the most logically about it. I'm just gonna choose what I'm in the mood for, and that's this book, if you couldn't already tell by the almost 1,000 times that I chose it for other prompts. So Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston is gonna be on the August TBR. I am so ecstatic. All right, on to the last prompt. A book ending and an even number of pages. This is always a fun one and can kind of be mood reading in a way as well. So let's check Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. The epilogue in this book ends on page 414, so that's an even number, so this is a contender. The Gilded Cage, this ends off on 429, so I can't pick The Gilded Cage, but I'll be honest, I don't even know why I'm picking up other books, because I think I just want to read this. I just want to finish this series. I feel like this has been one of the easiest TBRs I have picked in a while because I've known almost exactly what I wanted to read, or I have known exactly what to pick for each prompt. So the final book on our TBR for the month of August is going to be Defiant by Brandon Sanderson, which is the last book in the Skyward series. Let's go ahead and do a quick TBR recap of all the books I picked. Prompt 1 was a book I can finish in a day, and I picked The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. The second prompt was a book that matches my outfit. I chose The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Then I chose the prompt, a book I really want to read. I chose The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick. The fourth prompt was the most colorful cover, and I chose The Passion Project by London Sperry. The next prompt was a mood read. I chose Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I cannot wait to read this. And the sixth and final prompt was a book ending in an even number of pages, and I chose Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. And those are all the books that make up my August TBR. I'm really excited. I feel like we have a good mixture of books on here. Definitely more fantasy leaning, but hey, I'm not complaining. I feel like I'm re-entering my fantasy era, so this will be perfect. If you guys have any thoughts on these books, be sure to leave them down below so we can chat about them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you watched until this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below the jar emoji so I know who the real ones are who watched until the end. And if you want to keep up with me on the daily, go ahead and follow on my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Goodreads. I'm always updating on all of those, and they are always linked down below. Alright, I think that is going to be it for me today. I love you guys so much. Hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys! Melly is at the door, everyone. She's very mad.
I know, but I have to close the door because I'm filming. You can come in, but you have to stay.
Would you like to say hi to everyone? We have a guest currently joining us because she cannot be alone for 2 seconds. Yeah, is that right? So I'm gonna go ahead and choose jars. Peace.